a scion of many worlds. In the darkness of night, two pillars are sunk into the ground by a ghost that flew in on the wind. The clouded sky hid the construction of a camp and hid the small group of women slipping through the cracks and poorly observed parts of the city. The door to elsewhere has hundreds pour out and prepare. Machines are set up and ammunition stores are primed and ready. There are numerous shushes as some slight amount of noise is made, but there's nothing that alerts the few bored guards on the walls. However, deep in the city, a small team breaks apart, each with their own directions and goals as they disperse into different directions. One of them, a shadow in the darkness, slips away along streets, familiar and yet not. What she had learned had taught her to look in different places and see things she wouldn't before, possible places to shelter against in a gunfight, ways to sneak along, and how to easily mantle onto the buildings. She also can't help but notice how they actually widen as they go up, meaning it would be really easy to race along the rooftops. She did know it was like that before, but never really thought about it. A few turns and she stops. It wasn't the fanciest house. It was never the fanciest house. A family whose nobility comes from their money savvy does not spend outside their means. But boarded-up windows and curses carved into the walls brings her up short. The pause only lasts a moment before she rushes in to investigate. The door is locked, not only locked but barricaded from the other side. She frowns and focuses before her form wavers and she walks through the wall itself. Speaking at length to that Herbert fellow had been an excellent move. She steps through physically and is forced to dodge under something heavy being swung at her by a figure in the darkness. She dodges two more swings as she fades into full reality and then locks the weapon down, and the woman struggles. "Calm down," Brianna orders, and at the sound of her voice the attacker gasps, a gasp that Brianna recognizes. "Moira? Brianna, you're back," her sister exclaims, dropping the wooden mallet and embracing her. We were told you went rogue and started a bandit clan." "Not by choice. After I was drafted, they threw us out. They were going to use us to blood a new battalion of Night Slayers," Brianna explains, and Moira gasps. "How? Wait, everyone needs to be here. I was on night watch tonight, but I don't think they'll complain about waking up to this." Moira stammers out and rushes in with Brianna smiling slightly. "Tired?" "Yes." "Worn out?" "Undoubtedly." "Alive?" "Thankfully." "Blessedly alive, and hopefully the rest of the Dusks are as well." Moira, being Moira, doesn't shake people awake, but rather throws random things onto people's beds and bids them into the living room. Well, everyone except Grandmother Bell. She's gently shaken awake. There are hugs and some suppressed weeping. Everyone's being quiet and cautious, which tells Brianna everything she needs to know about how her family has been treated. To see them afraid of their neighbors at night, to set a guard at night and blockade the door to keep safe, she fights down a surge of rage at the idea of this happening to her family. "It's good to see you, dear, although you seem to wear that chainmail far too comfortably. What's happened to you? We were all told you abandoned Miru to become a bandit with your forces. We've been all dodging insults and other things for it." And there's Grandmother Bell's to-the-point style of questioning. "No dancing around, tell me, and this is what's happening so you don't have your own questions to distract you." As I told Moira, after I was dragged off to be in the Miru army myself and an entire battalion were thrown away and branded as bandits, they then set a newly trained force of Night Slayers after us to blood them. As for how we got out of that, one word: Jasper. "Jasper? The Rock? Or an Aramenta?" Grandmother Bell asks with her eyes sparkling. She helped drag the family up and out of being mere merchants, and her haggling and haranguing had won them a noble title. Neither. Jasper is the War Master of Aridus Valley, a being that stands so tall I would swear he was a small mountain in motion. She darling, We didn't raise you to slur and mumble. That's just it, grandmother. Jasper is a he, not a she. I had once thought that only animals had males, but apparently Urthani can as well. Jasper is a male Urthani. Brianna, have you taken a blow upside the head? Moira, when you were on guard, did you bonk your sister on the head with that silly mallet? Grandmother Bell asks, turning a pointed look to the younger Araminta. She dodged. I didn't hit her even once while she did that weird shadowy woo-woo thing. Moira protests. I haven't had the scent struck from me. Strange things are afoot and I've been given a chance to get you out. Brianna, what are you saying? Get to the point, Grandmother Bell says, and Brianna sighs. She should not have expected any different. We have a fairly large army armed with very powerful weapons. When dawn breaks, Luxembourg will be under siege. As night progresses, myself and many others are infiltrating the city and getting people on the inside on our side, or evacuating people we care about. I want to get you all to safety, well behind the weapons and perhaps so far away as the Aridus Valley. That backwater monastery? It's a week away, riding hard. Her mother Giselle responds, speaking up for the first time. We've opened a doorway, it's 10 minutes away now at a leisurely walk, Brianna says, before smiling and vanishing to reappear 2 steps to her left. I have been taught incredible things and have learned even more about myself. Okay, I think we need to slow down. Luxembourg will be under siege. There's a war? With whom? The Undaunted, Brienne states. They're coming. They have a single champion here already, and he's going to be sieging Luxembourg come dawn. Or rather, the siege is a distraction. He's going right for the throne in order to make this as bloodless as possible. How? What's going on? Giselle asks sternly. He's going to capture or kill the entire Senate and the Queen simultaneously. He wishes to capture but is ready to kill if he must. I have no love for our current rulers, no one here does. Giselle begins before frowning. But will this, Jasper, will he bring ruin or prosperity with these actions? What are his goals? As I said, he's the first of the Undaunted on Lachran. More are coming. He claims they come with immeasurable wealth, incredible knowledge, and great gifts to resurrect the age of miracles. I have seen him already start to supply some of them. He shared memories with me. Directly into my mind, he had me live through some of his own personal training as a soldier. I've seen some of it already. The knowledge included how to craft and use weapons of incredible power. He's brought tomes filled with immense knowledge as he awaits his fellows. And why are these gifts being offered to us? What do these Undaunted have to gain? Grandmother Bell asks. Apparently they're mostly new to the galactic scene. They want to be heroes. They want to be seen as heroes and champions. This is an easy victory being handed to them on a platter. All they have to do is show up and start handing out food and technology we lost, and most of the world solves itself as a problem, and they start looking really good. So they're coming here for vanity, Grandmother Bell muses. Vanity or honor. Either way, our lives improve, Grandmother. Brienne states, and Grandmother Bell makes a rumbling sound in her throat as she thinks. I want to see this for myself, she says after a few moments. If you're here to rescue us, then consider us rescued. We were planning on leaving soon regardless. Our neighbors have seen only the ill in us of late, and ever since the bully girls of the guard dragged you off to be recruited, we've been looking for the best time to run without someone on the road appearing with swords and arrows. Mother, Giselle begins, and Grandmother Bell looks towards her. Giselle, we're down to just 4 of us. 4. 5 years ago there were 10. Most have claimed accident, but none of us actually believe that. Get your bags. If nothing else, then we're making our escape tonight. Grandmother Bell orders and things start to move at the old matriarch's orders. Brianna, come along and help me carry my things. We need to talk. She follows with a bit of trepidation into her grandmother's room. The door is barely closed behind her when her face is grabbed and Grandmother Bell and her grandmother stares at her right in the eyes. She then has her head tilted from side to side and is given a slight backhand in the stomach that forces a single breath of air out that Grandmother Bell sniffs. "I don't think you're drugged. You've had a bit of wine, but that was a while ago. What's really going on?" Grandmother Bell asks. "You don't believe me? Your story is absurd. Of course I don't. Reality is stranger than fiction. It's really happening." Brianna defends herself, and Bell simply snorts. "Child, I did not drag this family up from Bell Cellars to a prosperous trading house by being a fool. There's much you're not telling me. I can promise you that it's not something that will put the family in danger. It's my own self and nothing else," Brianna states, and her grandmother's face softens. "You can tell me anything, dear. I'm your grandmother. I am here to ward you from danger, advise you to the greatest path possible, and help you find your dreams with what little time I have left. Well, that's part of it. Jasper has literally promised the stars and sky. Wealth unending has gone hand in hand with life unending. He claims that his fellows can heal even age," Brianna says, and Grandmother Bell's eyes widen before narrowing. "But that's not all, is it? Well, Brianna, I gave you my name and started going by Grandmother Bell because I saw the same spark in you that I see in the mirror, even when you were but a squirming little thing clinging to the nearby shadows. What's wrong? I may be having, or there are stirrings." "Stirrings," Grandmother Bell parrots, unsure where this is going, but rather entertained regardless. "There are many things absurd about Jasper, but perhaps most absurd is the unspoken affect he is having upon the army he has raised. It is an affect that all who behold him feel at least partially." "And it is stirrings?" "Yes." "What manner of stirrings?" "There is an epidemic of burning loins when he speaks," Brianna admits, and Grandmother Bell slowly smiles. She holds up a finger and takes a step away to pull out a bottle of wine, only half drunk. "Continue," Grandmother Bell says, uncapping the bottle and taking a very amused-looking sip. "Grandmother, this is serious." "It is indeed. Tell me, in what manner does this voice induce the burning loins? Or are you asking for a proper cellar of relieving instruments? Because I'm afraid the carvers are quite closed at this hour." "Grandmother!" Brianna half yelps in embarrassment, and the old woman starts chuckling before taking a deep swig of the wine. The bottle is then held out to her, and she takes it before downing a deep gulp of her own. "Granddaughter, perhaps you could explain a little more clearly? If it's not advice on how to deal with the burning loins, perhaps it's something else. I didn't even... Never mind. You'll see when you meet him." "Oh? This magical Urthani from beyond the stars would deign to speak with the founder of a house in decline." "I don't think he cares about noble houses," Brianna admits. "Does he? Interesting," Grandmother Bell remarks before sealing the wine again. "Regardless, I'll have to thank him for taking care of my darling baby granddaughter. Perhaps I'll share some stories about when you..." "Are you already drunk?" Brianna demands as she wraps her hands around the old deviant's mouth. There's a shrug. "How are we related again? I shat your mother out and she shat out you. Now let's go, shall we? I want to meet this mystery Urthani," Grandmother Bell says, and then carefully watches the play of emotions and confusion on her granddaughter's face before Brianna realizes what she's doing, and she crosses her arms in frustration at the old woman. "You don't need to try and get a rise out of me, Grandmother. I was speaking the truth." "So you say, but manipulators are more easily found if they're on the back foot and confused. There's something else going on, though. You're not pulling a fast one, but you are on a time limit," Grandmother Bell says, before slowly lowering herself with intent to get something out of the shadows beneath the bed. Once her hand is level with it, she makes a pulling motion and a flattened pack is pulled out by a tether of tangible darkness. "Let's go. I have a few questions for this Jasper character. Hopefully he can answer, for his sake." I highly doubt you could best him, grandmother. Oh, don't count me out just yet. Your old Granny Belle has a few tricks up her sleeve. She teases before gesturing to a walking stick leaning up against the wall, and it flies into her hand. Now, let's go meet this mystery man. Carry my things, won't you, dear?